Hey guys, all right, I'm gonna do this quick tonight because I don't know if it's like a severe allergy attack or if I'm getting a cold, but oh my goodness, all I'm doing is like sneezing and coughing today. It's loads of fun. So I'm gonna power through this really quick for you, give you some quick tips for shifting fear's grip on you. So what I mean by that is a lot of people are ruled by fear. Fear really plays this very active role in their life, and a lot of times they end up feeling like the victim of fear. I know I've certainly been there before and lived in that way. So what I want to do is to help you get out of that place of feeling like fear has this very strong grip. All right, that's what I want to shift away for you. Hey Kelly, hey Stacy, glad that you're here. So here's the first thing that I want you to think of. It's a big one. It's probably the most important piece of shifting fear, really feeling like it has its hand around you. It has so much control over what you do. You have to stop seeing fear as any kind of decision maker in your life. Fear is a consultant. Fear is something that you look at to gain a more of an understanding. Hey, Christy, to gain more of an understanding of what your own limitations are. Fear is this gauge that's always telling you, hey, there's a limitation here, or there's a little weakness in your power here, or strength in this over here. But we take fear to be telling us we should or we shouldn't do something. So my first tip for you is to fire fear from its job of controlling you and telling you what you can and can't do. And instead, hire it to be a consultant to you, to when you make a decision to do something or when you feel a pull towards something, that you go, okay, interesting. Now let me consult my fear because I'm already going to do it. I'm already going to find a way to make that happen. Okay? Also, fear is a great indicator or gauge of your own limits. So imagine that, let's make this like a physical comparison for a minute. Imagine that I told you that you had to lift something really, really heavy. And I said, you know what, I want you to be able to lift this. And I want you to be able to hold this really heavy thing for 10 minutes. Now, depending on the weight, depending on all kinds of other things, you're going to pick this thing, and you're going to feel physically what your limitations are. So maybe when you pick up this really heavy thing and start to try to hold it for 10 minutes, you notice your arms are shaky and wobbly. Maybe before you even pick it up, you think, oh my gosh, this is going to be hard for me because I have a weak lower back, or I hurt my wrist recently, or I don't have strong legs to like really get it up off the ground and then hold it there, or my neck tends to go out when I hold heavy things. When you're in that place, you are really aware of your own limitations. So you have a choice there. If you really want to accomplish holding this heavy thing, instead of just saying, well, I can't because I have a weak lower back, or I don't have a lot of upper body strength, or my arms are weak, or my neck goes out, or whatever. Instead of saying that, you could say, okay, I would like to hold this heavy thing, but I realize that I'm limited in being able to achieve that goal because my arms are weak. And so what I'm going to do is, as I work towards being able to hold that heavy thing, I'm going to build up my arm muscles. I'm going to do arm exercises so that I can do it. Well, guys, it's the same with your own inner fears and your own inner limitations. Fear is showing you that. So if you want to go for something, you want to make something amazing happen, and a fear shows up, it's not telling you not to do it. It's showing you what parts need some strength training, what needs a little work, what muscles do you need to build up. So for me, whenever there's something that, hey Stacey, hey Heather, whenever there's something that I want to go for, the first fear that shows up at my door is money. Always, probably forever will be. It's always the first thing. And so I think, okay, what is my fear here? And I go deeper and I'm like, what's this gauge? What is this telling me about some kind of weakness that I have? And beyond it just being money that shows up, it's always different after that. There's always a shift because I'm always addressing things, right? So beyond money, maybe the fear is that I'll spend this money and it will be selfish and my family will think I'm a jerk. Not really a true fear, but one that I have sometimes. Maybe if I invest in this, I won't get back out of it what I really want to, and it will be a loss and I'll be a failure because of that. Maybe if I spend money on this, I won't be able to manifest enough money to come back in after that to pay all the other bills and things I want to pay. Got it? So if I look at that, instead of making that a decision maker for me, I say, okay, well, I have some limitations. The muscle that needs to be built up here is my faith in myself and my own power to really go out and to spend money, but to also make it back in when I invest in myself or when I invest in something I want to do. Make sense? And so you look deeper and you go, that's a power thing. So I need to build up that power muscle. So instead of just going, nope, forget it, I can't ever do it, you go, okay, I need to work on building up that power muscle, that faith, that knowledge that I can make more money. And that when I invest money out, it comes back to me. I use my ×2 rule that I've told you before. If it goes out, I manifest it back in ×2. I always say, send it back and double it, right? So you can do things like that where you're really being aware of that instead of letting fear make the decision. Make sense? I hope so. So we really want to be using fear as that great indicator for those types of things. And then lastly, how you shift that grip is that you don't set a time and you don't set an exact outcome to the thing that you want to do. So what I mean by that is, let's say you want to start your own business. You want to say to that jerky boss, see ya, and you want to leave and you want to start your dream business, something that you've always wanted to do. And you go and your intuition tells you to do that and you start to think about that and plan it and put it together. And you're in that space and all of a sudden the fear shows up like, well, how am I going to pay my bills? And what if I don't have any clients? Or what if I'm actually really bad at this? And all of a sudden that shows up, right? And you're like, oh, wait a minute. What if you start to see images of like your children like begging on the street. They have a cup and they're like, please, sir, spare some change because you went for this. So instead of going, well, I can't do it because of that, you could say, what could I do to build up this fear muscle? What could I do to see this as an indicator? And add in this last tip of, I will get there when I get there. If I keep working towards it, I won't be attached to a time outcome. All right. Now you can say something like, I'd love to be able to do this within the next year. That's fine, as long as you don't attach to it and put a lot of pressure on yourself for that time. It may come in sooner, it may come in later. As long as you're working towards it, that's what's important. Okay. The universe rewards action and growth. So if you are taking action and you are working on growing, the universe is going to send you opportunities and abundance and all of that because of that. Okay. And not attaching to an outcome is the other secret, because when you do that, you kind of invite fear in to just rule over you, right? And same with time. Like, hey, you haven't met that deadline. Oh, you haven't done this and you haven't done that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to like create your own shame pit for not achieving stuff the exact way you wanted to. And you guys, I'm saying this as a person who is a control person, who is a goal setter. You know me, I'm a strategist. I strategize everything. And you have to make sure that you're not super attached to an outcome. You're much more focused on your intention for what you want this to be for you, what you want this to feel like. When I first started my business, I started it in the fitness world because that was the way I felt safest, helping people. I wasn't ready back, let's see, 7 years ago to come out of the broom closet all the way yet. You know, here I am now with my pink hair. But back then, that was too scary for me. I wasn't ready. That fear was too great. So I didn't attach to having to build up this incredibly big, huge, successful fitness business. I just started there and I started coaching women on learning to love their bodies, and specifically moms and supporting moms as they tried to find time for themselves in this crazy world, right? So I started there, and had I been really attached to the goals I had set for myself, which were big and they were in the fitness world, I never would have ended up here where I am now, which is a place that I love much better, which is where I get to be fully myself. And the things that I used to want to hide about myself are the things that I use every day to help people. So instead of being super attached to like getting X amount of clients or selling X amount of videos or going into that place, instead of being attached there, I was much more connected to my intention of starting a business and running one that I loved, that I could balance my home life and my work life with. And so because that was not a specific outcome, I was able to do that without fear constantly yelling at me that I wasn't achieving my goals. Makes sense? I hope it does. I know some of you are smiling because you know that I'm using your lives as examples. Because I do, and because I adore all of you. And we all go through these same similar things, right? Isn't it cool? So those are my tips. Start doing that. Fear is your friend. It does not have to be an enemy. It's just that you've got to fire it from that role of controlling your every move and being a decision maker. Fear was never meant to be a decision maker. Fear was meant to be a consultant. Fear is a gauge. Fear is something for you to look at as an indicator as to where your own resistance is, to where your own weaknesses are, so that you can build them up and work on them and move towards your goals. All right? Go forth, conquer. I'll see you in about 45 minutes in here. I'm going to pull you some cards, all right? Heather said you have such a wonderful way of explaining things. I love it. Thanks, girl. Thank you so much. You know, I just grabbed my notebook that you got from me and was just taking notes in it right before. So I was just thinking about you. I'm glad to see you here too. All right, guys, go forth and conquer. I'll see you for cards in a little bit. Thanks for hanging with me while I talked quick because apparently I'm having a massive allergy attack today. I'm going to go douse myself in my oils. Have an awesome night. Talk to you soon. Hang in there. Mercury retrograde is almost over.